The flight was almost full, passengers settling in, the soft hum of engines filling the cabin. A well-dressed black man quietly took his seat near the window, placing his briefcase under the seat. Across the aisle, a woman frowned immediately. Her eyes narrowed, her lips tightened, and she pressed the call button. "Excuse me," she said to the flight attendant, pointing. "I don't feel comfortable sitting next to him." The entire row went silent. The man looked up, calm but confused. The attendant blinked, unsure what to say. "Is there a problem, ma'am?" The woman crossed her arms. "I just think, someone like him shouldn't be here." Her voice was dripping with arrogance. The man took a slow breath, his eyes showing patience mixed with quiet pain. He said nothing, yet. The attendant, trying to stay professional, replied softly, "Ma'am, everyone has a right to be here." But the tension grew thicker, passengers beginning to turn their heads, whispering. Something told them this wasn't going to end quietly. The captain's announcement briefly distracted the cabin, but the woman wasn't done. "I paid for my ticket," she said loudly, "and I won't sit next to him. Either move him or move me." The black man lifted his head, speaking gently. "Ma'am, I assure you, I'm not a threat. I'm just here to travel like everyone else." His calmness only irritated her more. "Don't talk to me," she hissed. "I know your type." The flight attendant tried again, "Ma'am, please lower your voice." But she wouldn't stop. People began recording quietly on their phones. The man sighed, looking toward the window, as if searching for patience in the clouds. He didn't want a scene, but the situation was escalating fast. The captain was alerted, and a gate agent appeared moments later. "Sir, could you please step off for a moment?" The words stung. He hadn't done anything wrong. Yet all eyes were on him, waiting to see what he'd do. He stood slowly, keeping his composure. "Of course," he said, voice steady. As he walked toward the front, the woman smirked, satisfied. Finally, she muttered. The gate agent guided him toward the exit, and whispers followed. The attendant's eyes showed guilt. "I'm so sorry, sir. We just need to check something." He nodded. "I understand." Outside, security waited, not aggressive, just uncertain. "Sir, we've received a complaint," one officer said. "We're going to need to confirm your identification." The man opened his briefcase, pulled out a slim wallet, and flipped it open. Silence. Inside gleamed a golden badge, FBI Special Agent. The officers froze. Their expressions shifted instantly from suspicion to shock. "Agent Carter," one stammered. He gave a faint smile. "Yes. Is there a problem with me taking a flight to Washington?" The officers exchanged glances, embarrassed. "No, sir. Not at all." The agent's calm voice carried quiet power. "Good," he said. "Then perhaps we should talk about why I was removed in the first place." The officer's eyes lowered. One whispered, "It was a passenger complaint." "A false one," Carter replied. "And you acted on it without cause." His tone wasn't angry, just disappointed. The captain had joined them now, confused and apologetic. "Agent, I had no idea, you shouldn't have to," Carter said firmly. "Everyone deserves equal respect, badge or not." The gate agent swallowed hard. "Sir, please accept our apologies. You're welcome to reboard." Carter nodded slowly. "I will. But not before I speak to the woman who caused this." The officers looked at each other. "Sir, are you sure?" "I'm sure," he said, his eyes calm but steady. "It's time for her to understand something." As Carter walked back down the aisle, every eye was on him. The woman's smirk faded the moment she saw the badge clipped to his belt. Her confidence melted into shock. "Wait, you're..." "That's right," he said quietly. "FBI." The flight went dead silent. "You wanted me removed because of how I look," he continued, "but you never thought to ask who I am." The woman opened her mouth, but no words came out. The passengers who had filmed earlier were now watching with newfound respect. "You see, prejudice doesn't just hurt feelings," Carter said gently. "It blinds us to truth." The woman's eyes dropped, shame filling her expression. The flight attendant whispered, "Agent Carter, we're ready to depart whenever you are." He gave a small nod, sitting back down in his original seat, calm, composed, and dignified. During the flight, the woman sat frozen in silence, tears quietly forming in her eyes. No one had yelled at her. No one had punished her. But the weight of her actions spoke louder than any words. Carter sat quietly, reading a file, his face peaceful. The woman leaned over slowly. "Sir." "I'm sorry," she whispered. He looked up, met her eyes, and nodded once. "Apologies mean something when they lead to change." She nodded, genuinely. "I'll remember that." For the rest of the flight, no words were needed. The air felt lighter, not because justice had been served by power, but because dignity had been restored through grace. People weren't just watching an FBI agent, they were witnessing what real strength looks like: calm, quiet, and compassionate. When the plane landed, passengers clapped softly, not for arrival, but for respect. As they exited, one man stopped Carter and said, "You handled that better than anyone I've ever seen." Carter smiled faintly. "We can't fight ignorance with anger," he said. "Only with example." As he walked out of the terminal, the sunlight hit his badge, a silent reminder that authority means nothing without humility. Behind him, the woman stood watching, a changed expression on her face. She had boarded the plane with judgment, and left it with awareness. The story of that flight would later go viral, not because of scandal, but because of a man who taught the world that dignity doesn't need to shout, it simply stands tall.